वो salt water mixture है कि compound है?
It's a mixture. It's a
तो वो
homogeneous mixture. Salt is a compound, water is a compound, but salt water is a mixture. ठीक है, where were we?
the animal husbandry.
Sorry?
Animal husbandry. Last.
Animal husbandry. इसके सारे questions कर लिए थे क्या तूने?
तो भेज भी दिए मैंने.
हाँ, मैं देख नहीं पाया यार अभी. बट उसमें कोई doubts हैं?
No, sir.
कोई बिल्कुल कुछ भी डाउट नहीं है. ठीक है. So we'll finish up this chapter today. ठीक है. So you'll be free from both of us today. उसके बाद if you have any issues, if you have any doubts, you can always feel free to ask us.
Yes.
And from time to time we'll keep taking some tests or some classes if need be. ठीक है. Mostly doubt classes ही होंगे as such तो. ठीक है. So let's start. Animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the scientific management of animal livestock. Achha, first of all, why do we need animal husbandry?
So animal husbandry क्योंकि जो cattle है वो healthy हो और फिर protein तो इनमें ज़्यादा कुछ हो.
क्या?
पहले उसको feed क्योंकि animal husbandry में पहले cattle को feed करते हैं. फिर वही cattle को non-vegetarian लोग खाते हैं. तो उससे उनको प्रोटीन ज़्यादा मिले मतलब.
So the reason that we need or require animal husbandry is because a large part of the population of the world also eats meat. ठीक है? Of different kinds. ठीक है? Animal husbandry सिर्फ cows के लिए नहीं है. There's also there for pigs. There's also there for goats. It's there for hens. ठीक है?
तो cows के लिए तो milk के लिए होता है ना?
हाँ, and cows के लिए milk के लिए भी होता है, but cows because beef की तरह भी खाया जाता है, तो वो भी दोनों चीजों के लिए करते हैं actually. ठीक है? So animal husbandry is actually a huge industry. It's a huge industry. Okay, and it is being said, I'm not sure 100% about it, but it is being said that because of meat, okay, because of this poultry farming and all of this, a lot of pollution also happens. Okay, so a lot of pollution happens because of that, and that's the reason, if you've heard of this vegan trend, this vegan diet and all of this has started. If you haven't, so search for it. Okay? So you can also search for, I mean, the whole vegan diet has been based on this concept that eating animals is bad for health and eating animals is bad for the planet, and they have linked everything to the animals. Ki we shouldn't be eating animals because everything is bad with that. Okay? So it's quite interesting how it works and why people. It is a big trend, by the way. Like a lot of people are taking it up, and even in Jaipur, there are a lot of people who have started becoming vegan essentially.
तो
So
फिर अगर non-vegetarian लोग vegetarian बनेंगे तो cycle disturb ही होगी.
यार cycle तो disturb नहीं होगी, because essentially the number of animals are also getting less, right? The number of animals that we'll be breeding, essentially what that means is the animals themselves were eating something. The animals themselves were eating plants or vegetables or whatever they were giving them. So वो वाला खाना एक तरह से हम लोगों को मिल जाएगा. So we're kind of removing that aspect. Okay, so yeah, search for it. It'll be fun. It's an interesting thing that you should find out. Okay, so animal husbandry is the scientific management of animal livestock. It includes various aspects such as feeding, breeding, and disease control. Animal-based farming includes cattle, goat, sheep, poultry, and fish farming. As the population increases and as living standards increase, the demand for milk, eggs, and meat is also going up. Also, the growing awareness of the need of for humane treatment of livestock has brought in new limitations in livestock farming. Thus, livestock production also needs to be improved. Cattle farming. Cattle husbandry is done for two purposes. One, milk and draught labor for agricultural work such as tilling, irrigation, and carting. Acha, okay. So one is milk and the second is draught labor for agricultural work such as tilling, irrigation, and carting. Indian cattle belongs to two different species, Bos indicus cows and Bos bubalis, which is buffaloes. ये क्या है Bos bubalis? Like what is this thing?
It's a scientific name.
These
अच्छा,
are the scientific names. Yes.
जैसे
बोल.
ना humans का Homo sapiens है वैसे.
Yeah. ठीक है. So इसमें जो first वाला होता है, which is Bos, or I hope I'm saying it right, Bos. So that is the genus. Okay, that is the genus. That is the upper category, and then the Bubalis or the Indicus, it is the species in that. Okay. Milk producing females are called milch animals, dairy animals, while the ones used for farm labor are called draught animals. Milk production depends to some extent on the duration of the lactation period, meaning the period of milk production after the birth of a calf. So, milk production can be increased by increasing the lactation period. Exotic or foreign breeds, for example, Jersey, Brown Swiss, are selected for long lactation periods, while local breeds, for example, Red Sindhi, Sahiwal, show excellent resistance to diseases. The two can be crossbred to get animals with both the desired quality. ठीक है? Proper cleaning and shelter facilities for cows and buffaloes are required for humane farming, for the health of animals, and for the production of clean milk as well. Animals require regular brushing to remove dirt and loose hair. They should be sheltered under well ventilated roofed sheds that protect them from rain, heat, and cold. The floor of the cattle shed needs to be sloping so as to stay dry and to facilitate cleaning. The food requirements of dairy animals are of two types: maintenance requirement, which is food required to support the animal to live a healthy life, and milk producing requirement, which is the type of food required during the lactation period. Animal feed includes roughage, which is largely fiber, and concentrates, which are low in fiber and contain relatively high levels of proteins and other nutrients.
So roughage है हुआ ना.
हाँ, mostly है ही होता है. ठीक है. Concentrates are like in our case, concentrates are fruits and vegetables. In their case, also it could be fruits and vegetables, or it could be something else. I'm not sure. Okay, but yeah, roughage mostly hay ही होता है for animals. Cattle need balanced rations containing all nutrients in proportionate amount. Besides such nutritious food material, certain feed certain feed additives containing micronutrients promote the health and milk output of dairy animals. Cattle suffer from a number of diseases. The diseases, besides causing death, reduce milk production. A healthy animal feeds regularly and has a normal posture. The parasites of cattle may be both external parasites and internal parasites. क्या होते हैं parasites?
तो जो वो फीड करते हैं प्लांट्स पे.
Plants पे, तो cattle पे क्या
नहीं,
होता है?
सर डिजीज होता है उनसे, डिजीज कैरी करते हैं.
हाँ, parasites are animals, or it can be fungus or virus or whatever it can be, which essentially depend on a host body to take food or to survive. Okay, so even in humans there are a lot of parasites. Okay, humans के अंदर भी काफी parasites होते हैं, और I mean from time to time, not all the time. If there's something all the time, then we'll die. Diseases उसी वजह से होती है, ठीक है. But mushrooms, जैसे mushrooms are not the best example. Mushrooms are not parasites. Leeches are parasites. ठीक है. So leeches, do you know what leeches are? ठीक है.
ब्लड
So,
सक करती है.
हाँ, so exactly, they suck the blood. That means they are living off of us. Okay, so they are parasites. ठीक है. जैसे humans के अंदर worms भी आ जाते हैं. Okay, so when that happens, they are again parasites because they are living inside of us, and uh, they are essentially eating our nutrients or taking our nutrients. ठीक है. बच्चों में काफी होता है, काफी कॉमन होता है. आगे इसमें भी आ रहा है. So the parasites can be both external and internal. External parasites live on the skin and mainly cause skin diseases. So the leech will come in this. Internal parasites like worms affect stomach and intestine, while fluke damages the liver. Flukes are again types of animals. ठीक है, they are part type of animal. जैसे worms हैं, उसी तरह से flukes भी होते हैं. Infectious diseases are also caused by bacteria and viruses. Vaccinations are given to farm animals against major viral and bacterial diseases. Okay, तो काफी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है, इसमें कुछ ज्यादा एक्सप्लेनेशन या डिस्कशन है नहीं.
सर अगर डॉग है आपके फार्म में, आपके किसी फार्म में डॉग है, तो उनको रफेज में हे थोड़ी खिलाएंगे.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, डॉग्स को हम एनिमल हस्बेंड्री में नहीं लेते हैं यूजुअली. ठीक है, आई मीन लेते हैं, but not for like eating purposes or agriculture or say food purposes. ठीक है. Dogs कहाँ काम आते हैं? Like in the army or in the police. ठीक है. So that is also kind of animal husbandry, but that is also not really a animal husbandry because we are not using them to feed us. We are just using them to help us. ठीक है. तो वहाँ पे तो उनका जो डॉग फूड आजकल तो काफ़ी एडवांस होता जा रहा है. सो वहाँ पे ये सब नहीं खिलाता. वैसे भी डॉग्स आर दे यूजुअली ईट मीट डॉग्स. ठीक है, तो इसलिए फ़र्क पड़ता है. ओके, सो पोल्ट्री फार्मिंग. Poultry farming is undertaken to raise domestic fowl for egg production and chicken meat. Therefore, improved poultry breeds are developed and farmed to produce layers for eggs and broilers for meat.
तो ब्रॉयलर क्या होता है?
So, broiler is a very interesting. So, broilers are essentially hens, or uh, they're essentially hens. कैसे बताऊं? मतलब ब्रॉयलर जो होते हैं, दे आर chickens which are literally just there because we want to eat them. ठीक है. So they can't reproduce, they can't lay eggs, they don't have the capacity to lay eggs. So they are literally just um, raised. They are raised just for the sake of eating. ठीक है,
तो
so
फिर अगर वो रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं होते उनका पॉपुलेशन बढ़ता है कैसे?
क्या?
तो अगर वो रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रही तो उनका वो मतलब उनका नंबर कैसे बढ़ता है?
यार वो एग्जैक्टली मेरे को भी प्रोसेस पता नहीं है. I'm not sure about that. How exactly? थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा मुझे भी ब्रॉयलर के बारे में एग्जैक्टली क्या होता है. एंड बट आई रिमेम्बर दैट दे डू नॉट रिप्रोड्यूस. वो बस अब वो कोई एक स्पेशल टाइप का चिकन होता है, कैसे होता है आई एम नॉट श्योर. ठीक है, बट आजकल ऐसे होने लगे हैं जैसे जो द एग्स दैट वी गेट इन द मार्केट, दे आर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ब्रॉयलर एग्स. What that means is those eggs cannot really, like ऐसा नहीं होगा कि if you keep that egg under a hen, a chick will come out of it. No. ठीक है, those eggs जो हमें मार्केट में मिलते हैं, they are not like real eggs. Okay, they are eggs that are produced just for the sake for us to eat. Okay, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि उसको हम like those eggs cannot really go to that point the that a chick can come out of it. ठीक है, I'm not sure how exactly it happens, but that's the reason that eggs can last for this long. ठीक है, बहुत ज़्यादा भी नहीं होता है बट काफ़ी टाइम तक रुक ही जाते हैं फिर भी. Okay, so the crossbreeding programs between Indian indigenous, for example, a seal, and foreign exotic, for example, leghorn breeds, for a variety of improvements are focused on to develop new varieties for the following desirable traits: number and qualities of chicks, dwarf, dwarf broiler parent for commercial chick production, summer adaptation capacity, tolerance to high temperature, low maintenance requirements, reduction in size of the egg-laying bird with ability to utilize more fibrous, cheaper diets formulated using agricultural byproducts. Okay, so उनका size भी छोटा कर रहे हैं हम और उनकी ability to eat cheaper diets which are essentially made up of agricultural byproducts. तो जो hay हो गया एक तरह से, उसको भी हम मतलब that is like the ideal cases. Egg and broiler production. Broiler chickens are fed with vitamin-rich supplementary feed for good growth rate and better feed efficiency. Care is taken to avoid mortality and to maintain feathering and carcass quality. They are produced as broilers and sent to market for meat purposes. For good production of poultry birds, good management practices are important. These include maintenance of temperature and hygienic conditions in housing and poultry feed, as well as prevention and control of diseases and pests. The housing, nutritional, and environmental requirements of broilers are somewhat different from those of egg layers. Okay? The ration daily food requirement for broilers is protein rich with adequate fat. The level of vitamin A and K is kept high in poultry feeds. Poultry fowl suffer from a number of diseases caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites, as well as from nutritional deficiencies. These necessitate proper cleaning, sanitation, and spraying of disinfectants at regular intervals. Appropriate vaccination can prevent the occurrence of infectious diseases and reduce loss of poultry during an outbreak of disease.
विटामिन ए और के हाई क्यों देते हैं?
उनका बॉडी में रिक्वायरमेंट होगा.
तो ए और के से होता क्या है?
विटामिन ए यार ह्यूमंस के लिए तो विटामिन ए इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर आवर आईज, ठीक है, हमारी आंखों के लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. के आई एम नॉट श्योर ऑफ, ठीक है, एंड इन चिक्स तो इट्स even more difficult because I don't know exactly how those vitamins are used or where are they needed. ठीक है, but काफी मतलब every animal has their own requirement essentially. So even in humans there are different requirements, by the way. So humans which are say in the North Pole, ठीक है, North Pole is habitated, you know that, right? Arctic में लोग रहते हैं. Now, vitamin D, which is quite an important vitamin for us, which we usually get from sunlight. तो अब वहाँ पे क्या होता है, वहाँ पे 6 महीने तो सनलाइट आती ही नहीं है, ठीक है. सो वहाँ पे I mean they have to maintain a certain level of vitamin D, but their dependence on that vitamin also decreases over time. Okay, so over time as they grow, their dependence on vitamin D reduces, like their body starts adapting. Okay, so ऐसा अलग अलग जगह होता रहता है. फाइन.
Yes.
फिश प्रोडक्शन पे आते हैं, ठीक है. एनी ये बहुत ही स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है, देयर इज नथिंग टू काइंड ऑफ डिस्कस हियर, दीस आर जस्ट फैक्ट्स दैट आर मेंशन्ड. ओके.
Yes.
Fish production. Fish is a cheap source of animal protein for our food. Fish production includes the finned true fish as well as shellfish such as prawns and mollusks. There are two ways of obtaining fish. One, from the natural resources, which is called capture fishing. The other is by fish farming, which is called culture fishery. The water sources of fish can be either seawater or fresh water, such as in rivers and ponds. Fishing can thus be done both by capture and culture of fish in marine and freshwater ecosystems. ठीक है?
Yes.
So काफी simple है again. अच्छा, this made me remember. There's a really cool documentary on food. It's called Food Inc. Have you seen it by any chance? I'll share it with you. It's a little lengthy. I think 1.5 hour, I believe. थोड़ा सा lengthy है, but I mean, I've known a lot of people that have been so disgusted after seeing it that they've stopped eating meat. Okay, because it kind of shows how the whole process is there, from kind of how do they get the broiler chicken, or how do they get the how do they kind of make them fat and stuff. Okay, so that's where the hormone injections and all of those things come in. Okay, I'll also watch it. मेरे को भी काफी time हो गया देखे हुए, so I'll share it with you. Okay, marine fisheries. India's marine fishery resources include 7,500 kilometers of coastline and the deep seas beyond it. Popular marine fish varieties include pomfret, mackerel, tuna, sardines, and the Bombay duck. Marine fish are caught using many kinds of fishing nets from fishing boats. Yields are increased by locating large schools of fish. Okay, schools of fish, groups of
Group
fish,
of
in the open sea using satellites and echo sounders. Again, echo sounders are
so radiate ultrasound से reflect होकर उनका बना.
अल्ट्रासाउंड से सिमिलर होते हैं, ठीक है. I'm not sure if they are exactly the same as sonar, but अल्ट्रासाउंड या साउंड को यूज करके they figure out कि कहाँ पे ज्यादा fishes हैं. Some marine fish of high economic value are also found in seawater. This includes finned fishes like mullets, bhetki, and pearl spots, shellfish such as prawns, mussels and oysters, as well as seaweed. Oysters are also cultivated for the pearls that they make. As marine fish stocks get further depleted, the demand for more fish can only be met by such culture fisheries a practice called mariculture. ठीक है, so mariculture is culture fishery, उसी के through हो सकता है, as they are, as we are kind of eating more than the fish can reproduce. ठीक है, depletion का मतलब ये है कि we are using more than it is, than the time that it is taking them to replenish it. Inland fisheries. Freshwater resources include canals, ponds, reservoirs, and rivers. Brackish water reservoirs, where seawater and freshwater mix together, such as estuaries and lagoons, are also important fish reservoirs. Okay, so this is important. Brackish water क्या होता है?
Brackish water.
Brackish water is water where the seawater and the fresh water mixes together.
Lagoons.
हाँ
Lagoon.
हाँ, basically lagoons के around जो होता है, ठीक है? So estuaries, lagoons, even deltas for that matter, जैसे Sundarbans, that is also a brackish water area. While capture fishing is also done in such inland water bodies, the yield is not high. Most fish production from these resources is through aquaculture. Fish culture is sometimes done in combination with a rice crop so that fish are grown in the water in the paddy field. More intensive fish farming can be done in composite fish culture systems. Both local and imported fish species are used in such systems. In such a system, ये कौन से system की बात कर रहे हैं? Fish culture system. A combination of 5 or 6 fish species is used in a single fish pond. These species are selected so that they do not compete for food among them, having different types of food habits. As a result, the food available in all parts of the pond is used. As Cattlus is a surface feeder, rohas feed in the middle zone of the pond, mrigals and common carps are bottom feeders, and grass carps feed on the weeds. Together, these species can use all the food in the pond without competing with each other. This increases the fish yield from the pond. ठीक है? Any questions? So काफी simple है. Basically क्या होता है कि कोई भी pond को हम basically use कर रहे हैं to grow fish, right? Now one way to do is कि हमने सिर्फ एक ही fish की type variety डाल दी उसमें and that we wait for that fish variety to grow. But the problem with that is all of the fish that grows in that pond will have the same food habits. That means they will compete with each other. That means the growth rate till a certain point will be high, but after that it will be stagnant, right? कि suppose 50 फिशेज हैं तो वो इजीली ग्रो हो जाएंगी, 100 फिशेज हैं तो वो इजीली ग्रो हो सकती हैं, बट हो सकता है कि 150 डिपेंडिंग ऑन द एरिया ऑफ द पॉन्ड कि 150 पे अब वो कंपटीशन चालू होगा कि 150 फिशेज आर टू मच फॉर द सेम एरिया ऑफ पॉन्ड, सो नाउ द फिशेज विल compete for the same amount of food that is present. ठीक है, now this food can either be grown in the pond or it can be given, so ऊपर से डाल भी सकते हैं by the farmer. Okay, so but the point is कि the competition, because of the competition, the number of fish that you finally get, which are both good in quality, which are well fed, and which can be sold to the market, is lesser. So they choose to limit the number of fish that they want to grow. So अगर 150 पे अगर उन्होंने check कर लिया है, then they will only grow till say 120 because they've already experimented and seen that. But the other thing, so that is the first thing, how they figure out the number of fishes. At the same time, they also figure out कि यार if I have space, so fishes में बहुत ही interesting होता है कि fishes have different food habits. So some will only eat the weeds, as we've seen. Some will be bottom feeders. Bottom feeders मतलब जो भी नीचे खाना है, ठीक है? So they might like they might float above, but when they eat, they only eat from the bottom. Okay, that means अब वो बॉटम में हो सकता है कि प्लांट्स हो, बॉटम में हो सकता है कि दूसरी फिशेस हो, स्मॉल फिशेस दैट kind of go around in that region, or it can also be some food particles that are captured in that region because of their densities. ठीक है, सो इसी तरह से हम फिश कल्चर सिस्टम में अलग अलग ऐसे फिश फूड हैबिट्स को देख के we kind of grow them together. So the same amount of space, remember yield क्या था, same amount of space में ज़्यादा food production करना है हमें, ठीक है. So same amount of space में, same amount of pond में, we are now increasing our yield. पहले सिर्फ हम एक grow कर रहे थे, now we are kind of reaching to 6 different species of fish. Okay. One problem with such composite fish culture is that many of these fish breed only during monsoon. So there is seasonality in this as well. Even if fish seed is collected from the wild, it can be mixed with that of other species as well. So a major problem in fish farming is the lack of availability of good quality seed. ठीक है.
सीड, फिश का सीड.
हाँ, so fish essentially egg को बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे seed. ठीक है, फिश जो है वो एग से ही ग्रो होती है ना, सो इट्स द सेम थिंग आई गेस. ठीक है, आई विल हैव टू एक्चुअली कंफर्म. फिश सीड थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग तो लग रहा है, बट आई फील दैट इट इज ओनली अबाउट द एग. ठीक है. To overcome this problem, ways have now been worked out to breed these fishes in ponds using hormonal stimulation. This has ensured the supply of pure fish seed in desired quantities. Fine. Beekeeping. Honey is widely used, and therefore beekeeping for making honey has become an agricultural enterprise. Since beekeeping needs low investment, farmers use it as an additional income generating activity. In addition to honey, the beehives are a source of wax, which is used in various medicinal preparations. The local varieties of bees used for commercial honey production are Apis cerana indica, commonly known as the Indian bee, A. dorsata, the rock bee, and A. florae, the little bee. An Italian bee variety, A. mellifera, has also been brought in to increase yield of honey. This is the variety commonly used for commercial honey production. The Italian bees have high honey collection capacity. They sting somewhat less, they stay in a given beehive for long periods, and breed very well. For commercial honey production, bee farms or apiaries are established. The value or quality of honey depends upon the pasturage or the flowers available to the bees for nectar and pollen collection. In addition to adequate quantity of pasturage, the kind of flowers available will also determine the taste of the honey.
हनी का तो मोस्टली सेम ही टेस्ट होता है.
सेम ही मतलब
टेस्ट सेम ही तो होता है, कोई डिफरेंस नहीं होता.
हाँ, तो अपन को लगता है जो लोग काम करते होंगे उनको तो फर्क पड़ता होगा. Like you can definitely taste like even in honey you can definitely taste a difference. Like if you've ever had fresh honey, okay, fresh honey is literally that you take like a beehive and you kind of break it open and the honey kind of comes out, and it's beautiful. Okay, the process itself is quite interesting, and the honey that comes out of it is beautiful because it's like literally fresh, and the taste of it is very different from the one that you get in a jar. Okay, so taste में फर्क तो आता ही है, and I guess different bees will also have different tastes of honey or other things. So I don't know. I don't think on these packages they write which honey, which bee has kind of gotten the honey. Okay. Usually the honey that we get in packages, they also have mixed sugar in them sometimes, most of the times actually. या कुछ ना कुछ तो वो करते रहते हैं, तो उसको जैसे ही हम ठंडा करते हैं वो ऐसे सेग्रीगेट हो जाता है. Okay, so if you ever keep honey, the bottle of honey, say Dabur honey जो आता है, if you keep it in your fridge, you will see after a while that it will separate out. Okay, so there'll be like a sugary kind of dense thing on top, and there'll be different layers that you can see through it. If it was pure honey, that would never happen. ठीक है, pure honey में नहीं होता वो. So it's usually a way people check the purity. ठीक है.
Yes.
So that's it. कोई questions हैं? Any doubts in any of the chapters? Nothing? ठीक है. Cool. So I'll send you the link. You can go through it. उसमें कोई questions हो तो you can always ask. ठीक है, मैं बता दूंगा उसमें. But काफी interesting है वो. I'll look at the seed thing, the fish seed वाला. I'll let you know about that exactly what it is. ठीक है. So that's it. Okay, Manchika?
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye, sir.
Bye.